Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of That's the Wrap, your favorite podcast for all things film and TV production from an independent point of view. I'm one of your hosts, Naomi.
And I'm Annette.
And we already on something.
I know, right? Right? Shout out Wawa Coffee. So we have a really good episode today. Going to be discussing my journey for the big jump to my big jump, and really how cancer was the catalyst that I needed to get me to jump.
It's a life changer.
Yeah,
it's a life changer. So yeah, we're gonna definitely dive into that. So
yep,
I'm hyped because I really think your story is super important. And when we're talking about the big jump, it's going from corporate to create, like really our personal stories and
right.
making that change, right? From corporate to full-time creative, at least for you right now.
Yeah. And also, we're just sharing our stories. This is no way me like co-signing everybody do the big jump, right? Like
not a blueprint, just
an
individual story.
An individual story.
Okay.
So we're gonna have a really good show.
Yeah.
But first, who be talking?
We be talking.
Who be talking?
We be talking.
What you want to talk about?
What you want to talk about?
So today I want to talk about, I think for me, the ultimate production tool.
I feel like you have several ultimate production tools.
I do. And a lot of them are free, but this one, there is a fee.
But so that means it's giving you a lot of stuff.
It gives me so much. And I really believe that this is a valuable tool for like production managers, production supervisors, UPMs, producers,
everybody,
directors,
everybody,
script supervisors. And we are talking about Scriptation. Scriptation.
I like the name.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I'm just going to go 3 things that I love about it.
Okay.
I use it on set all the time. We just had a walkthrough, had my iPad. So it is mobile accessible. iPad, I do believe tablets, cell phones. And you are able to take it and you are able to do blocking and make changes really in real time in scripts.
Okay.
Like when we were going through our walkthrough for a project that we have coming up, able to take a picture and put it directly in the storyboard, put it in the script. So that way when I went home, I had my notes and I could see what it was that we were talking about.
Okay.
It's those gems that it offers. Layered annotation system. You can take a script, you can categorize notes by department, character, any relevant. Yeah. I'm able to sync it with my Google Drive. So I know a lot of production companies, we use Google Drive because it's free.
Yep.
So you're able to sync it with your Google Drive and those folders in there and download it into the Scriptation app. Tagging features, really quick script breakdowns, tagging elements like props, locations, those type of things.
Sexy.
It is so sexy.
Very sexy.
So sexy. And I love the feature that you could just write on it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you can't upload like Word documents. Everything has to be in a PDF. So that is the only
that's the only
thing.
Okay.
But you can always in the Google Drive take that. We use Final Draft, convert it into a PDF, upload that into the drive, and then download it into, sync it with the Scriptation.
Okay.
but I absolutely love it. And it just keeps everything in one place. I'm not saying that it replaces paper
Mhm.
because, you're always going to need paper on set because just in case Wi-Fi drops or your,
Technology don't work. You still got
technology,
your script.
right.
You still got
You
your
still have
yeah.
the script
Yeah.
and, you're not like
Awesome.
chasing everything. So,
Okay. Scriptation.
Yep, Scriptation. There is a monthly fee, but
Worth it?
very much so.
Absolutely.
So
Okay.
yeah, so that's what I be talking about today.
All right.
Scriptation. Check it out.
All right, y'all. We'll be back.
Hey, welcome back.
Uh-huh.
Before we
Yeah.
begin, we need you all to do us a favor.
A solid.
We need you to go on and hit the like and subscription button and leave a comment.
Yeah.
Help us grow the channel.
We're trying to build something here.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if you can help us in doing so, we would
That'd be
greatly
great.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So we are talking about
you. We're talking about you, Net.
Which I hate, but
do you?
I do. I like asking the questions, man.
I know. It's like I don't want to talk about me. I can talk about anybody else though.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were in this episode. We're really going to jump into your personal story from going corporate from corporate to creative. And you've had an interesting journey to say the least. Okay, so I'm going to start off with, what was your life like?
Oh, you got questions.
Adzu. What was your life like before the cancer diagnosis? What were you like? I know you were working in a corporate setting.
So I was working in a corporate setting, and I was a communications assistant. And I remember the VP, who was so awesome. She became my mentor. She saw something in me that I had a knack at organizing and getting people motivated to do the jobs that they were paid to do. Right?
Look at you.
So she was just like, we need a project manager. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
That sounds like work.
So yeah, seriously. So when she asked me, I said no. And then I remember this girl that I was cool with. I was just like, yeah, she wanted me to be project manager. And I told her no. And she was like, yo, we need to go walk. And so we took a walk and outside. And she said, whenever anyone gives you an opportunity, you take it. I didn't see it as an opportunity. Like, that was a really huge lesson.
Yeah.
Because it was something that I didn't think that I wanted to do. And I look at her and I'm like, so you think I should take it? And she's like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And so I went back in there. I poked my head in her office and I told her, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm really open to this opportunity. Thank you for seeing something in me.
Yeah.
That language.
You gotta play that, yeah.
Right. And then I got my PMP, right?
Okay.
Of course, it wasn't that easy. But then it was, I think within that year, I realized project management ain't nothing but being a producer, but in a corporate setting.
Truly.
And that's when things started to kind of shift for me in that aspect.
Were you thriving at work, and did you see yourself staying in that corporate space for a long time, or did you always have an inkling? Because I know the way we grew up, and since we've known each other for so long, we always had the dream.
We always had the dream, but like how we grew up, we didn't grow up with an entrepreneurial mindset.
No.
We grew up with parents who taught us get a 9 to 5, get a
Yes.
good job, get good benefits.
Yes.
That so and I was a mom, and all the chatter was make sure
Mm-hmm.
you and your kid is good.
Mm-hmm.
And so on paper, yeah, I was thriving.
Stable. You
I
had that
was
stability.
stable. I had that stability.
Mm-hmm.
My kid had that stability. However, I still had a huge mindset of lack and scarcity.
Okay.
So even though we looked good on paper,
Mm-hmm.
it was not good.
Okay. And while you were in this part of your life,
Mm-hmm.
did you plan or have that sense of I'm still wanting to do more in the creative space?
I mean, so I think that I did because
Mm-hmm.
we were writing
Yeah.
and stuff,
Yeah.
right? But be honest, I was lying to myself
Mm-hmm.
because everyone told me that this is what I was supposed to be doing.
Right.
There was a voice inside me that was just like, you are not fulfilled. This is not what you want to be doing. But how is I supposed to make a living being a creative?
Right.
I could not see that in my mind's eye.
Okay.
Because I was coming from lack and scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
And then also it's being too scared to make a move.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I was going to play this out. But I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that my time at that corporate job was on borrowed time.
Okay.
They were laying people off, and they could have consolidated, use a project manager from another department. You know how they do to manage multiple departments.
Yes.
And when they started, I remember going into the vice president's office when they laid off my supervisor. He had 2 kids and a wife. I went in there and I said, hey, you know what? I'll take this L. How about you lay me off? Because they had a severance package. So I knew I wanted to go.
Right.
And she said, I have never had anybody come in and ask me to be fired. Right. But I knew.
Yeah.
And that was before cancer.
Okay. So let's jump into the cancer diagnosis,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you're diagnosed with cancer and breast cancer.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of jump a little bit forward into that moment, because I love this story. I think it is such a pivotal story. The moment when you, a question was asked.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And can you tell us what happened and how did it shift your life trajectory?
Yeah. So, my chemo would start on Wednesday, and then I would go in Thursday and get a white blood cell shot to help, my immune system. And after I got that shot, I would be down. I wouldn't be able to walk. I really couldn't be able to move. I really would just kind of lay in bed.
Mm-hmm.
And this one voice came to me and asked me a question. Are you happy? So because I'm on so many, chemo and then this shot and other things to help with the pain, thought it was that.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't answer. And then the next week it asked me again. And I remember the second time I reached out to my cousin who had gone through cancer. And I'm just like, yo, did you hear voices too? And she was just like, I don't know what you're talking about, cuz. And then the third time, I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt who was asking me the question.
Mm-hmm.
And normally, and not normally, when, Spirit asks you a question, it's not because they don't know the answer. It's because they want you to know the answer.
Right.
And I answered no. And that was this it was liberating,
Mhm.
and it was the scariest moment, because in that moment I knew that if the thought of dying without being able to show my son how to live
Mm.
was absolutely devastating.
Mm.
And I knew what I had to do, but I didn't know how. And then that's when I began to look at people online, and then I found, an MLM. Yeah, that wasn't sustainable, and I realized that after 4 months.
Mhm.
But one thing about a journey, it is not linear.
No.
You are going to go pivot. You're going to go this way. You're going to go that way. You're going to go this way. Anything that declines, there's an elevation.
Right.
And I learned so much in that I still take with me. And that was mindset change.
Okay.
Because how we grew up,
Mhm.
I didn't have an entrepreneurial mindset. I had a lack and a scarcity mindset. I didn't trust myself. I didn't believe in myself in this space.
Mhm.
And in order to grow, you have to change. So the old net was dying,
Mhm.
and the new net needed to grow. And when you grow, because it's so uncomfortable, of course, we revert back. So in order for me to be stronger, I had to continue to do that mindset.
Yeah.
And mindset and mindset. And people would look at me like, why do you do that? Why do you spend so much time? Like, I have to. I
Right.
knew that I needed to,
Mhm.
because I could not revert back.
So what other lessons during that particular journey
Mm-hmm.
do you still carry with you today? So mindset, changing your mindset, or at least doing the work of changing your mindset.
Yeah, it's unlearning
Mm.
pretty much everything that I was taught, right?
Yeah.
Giving myself grace.
Mm.
I think 2023 was the year I learned alignment over hustle.
Mm. What?
Yeah. And that was pivotal,
What?
because I would be hustling, get my resume
Yeah.
out. And I think we went on one of our retreats.
Yeah.
And I in Delaware, and I told you, like, a voice told me, stop. And then I remember specifically saying out loud, but how am I going to get a job? And then he said, stop. And
Mm.
so I stopped. And I remember we were outside by the water or in the living room talking. And then I got an email from this production company, and they offered me that
I
production
remember.
manager
Yeah.
gig.
Yeah.
And that's when I learned alignment over hustle.
And I think that is such an interesting point and poignant. You know how much we love that
Poignant.
word, because the hustle game,
Mm-hmm.
hustle until it just miraculously. I think we get lost in the hustle. We don't realize that we're killing ourselves in the hustle.
Yeah.
So that is
No,
a
and I think
profound
that
point.
we ought to stay here. I know
Yeah.
that we have like a specific time for this,
Yeah,
but
no,
I think that
let's
this
keep going.
conversation is just
Yeah.
really good, because the hustle culture can kill you,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And also the hustle culture is scary, and it's not realistic and sustainable.
It really isn't, because but I feel like it's very much part of the American culture of work yourself to death,
Yeah.
because to death
Right.
means that you're really working hard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if death is the outcome,
I don't want it.
I'm trying to live. So and I've heard a lot more discussions
Mhm.
about the hustle culture and how it is a detriment
Yeah.
to you as the being. It
So-
really is. There's nothing wrong with working hard and going after what you want.
Correct.
But I think
Correct.
the hustling
Mhm.
has become synonymous with grind
Mhm.
until you're ground.
Yeah.
And that's not, I just don't believe that that's the way to go.
I don't believe that that's the way to go, because I want a fulfilled life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you tell me a lot. Take a break. Rest. Right. Like, you literally applaud me when I say I didn't do nothing today. Yeah.
Sleep in.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Past 7
a.m. Net. Past 7. I'll be in bed till noon, but you are just like, I think I can sleep until I can stay in the bed till 7. And I'm like, oh God. Yeah. Yeah.
But that hustle culture, it's, you're devaluing the journey. That's where the magic happens.
I agree.
It's not the destination.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, we have goals. I have personal goals.
Yes.
But it is not that goal. It is who is emerging. Yeah. As I am going through this.
Yeah.
And I'm learning to give myself more grace. I'm learning to say, I don't know that. Now I get to find this out. There are no mistakes. And I remember I used to say that there are no mistakes. And even on set, when I'm on set, I'm like, there are no problems, only solutions. And I truly do mean that, because I want it to be collaborative. But there are no mistakes, because you're learning. And I think yesterday during the walkthrough that we had with our DP, the lighting wasn't how we wanted it. But because of our Morocco trip, because of that project, we now know how to function without lighting, because we had to. Right. No problems, only solutions.
Yes.
How are we going to fix this?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How are we going to use this to our advantage?
Yeah.
That is growth. Working as a team, coming into my becoming. I think we had a discussion with our client yesterday about the word becoming.
Yeah.
Becoming is ongoing.
It ain't just a Michelle Obama book.
It's not.
It really is. It is its own journey. We're all, I think that is the greatest thing to strive for, is that we're all consistently becoming.
Yeah. And hustle culture, not knocking it. If that's your bag, that's your bag. But there's growth in that. And if you're constantly hustling, where is that growth? When do you get a chance to stop and be still and embrace all that you have become so far on that journey?
Right. So let me ask you this. As you sit here today, cancer free. Where are we at in terms
10
of
years?
Wow, my God.
I know.
Has it been?
Yup. Because we drove cross country, and I will never forget that cow looked at me. I looked at it like, oh my God, but it looked at me like, girl, you got your own problems.
We drove. I was moving to Northern California, and we drove cross country. And when we got there, and then she flew back. I think it was just a few days later, you called me and you were just like, I got cancer.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. I had the lump before, and I just didn't think it was anything. And then my Nana came to me in a dream and told me to go to the doctor. And shout out Julie Brown.
Shout out to your guides.
Yeah.
I mean,
seriously, ancestors,
because they come through hard. Oh,
don't
for
they?
You.
Yo, they love me. They shoot. You gotta spend time with them.
They really do. They really do. And it's truly because you have opened yourself up. To hearing them, right? And receiving their messages. So how long after the diagnosis, or as you were going through treatment, did you make the shift? Did you say, love you full time, 9 to 5, gotta go?
So it was 2016. So almost 2 years. So end of 2014 was when I ended my cancer treatment full year of 2015, figuring things out. Joined the MLM in November of 2015.
Multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
June of 2016, I knew before then that it wasn't sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
And so I needed to find something else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And one of my business mentors, we met up, and I was going to sell her a kit. Like, you want this facial kit, girl? And universe had a different thing. They were just like, this is your pathway, right? And I started talking to her about what she does,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it was insurance agent, insurance broker. And I'm like, can I do that? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, can I make the same amount of money?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's where I wanted
Yes.
that security,
Yes.
like right away.
Right, right.
And she's like, not right away, but if you hustle, if you really work your business,
Mm-hmm.
you could start making that money in
Mm-hmm.
3 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, word, can you give me like a plan? And
Mm-hmm.
she put together.
That's amazing. Because I remember when you were just like, yeah, I'm making this plan.
Yeah.
I'm leaving this job.
Yeah.
And you were just like, I'm making the plan now. And you were like, I have a date. Like, you knew when you were going to leave the corporate gig.
Yeah.
And that is not an easy decision.
No, but it's when
you know, you know.
When you know. And when I make a decision, I make a decision. And I knew I was studying to get my broker license, and I didn't tell anybody. If I told you,
Mm-hmm.
I did not tell my family,
mm-hmm.
because I knew never tell your dreams with those that do not share your dreams. And I remember studying at the dining room table. My son, I didn't tell my son.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got it, that's when I told everybody, and they shat on it. And one of my mentors said, how could you do this to your son? Yeah. Wow. And that person from that point on was no longer my mentor. So sometimes you gotta keep things you cannot share independent dreams with those that are not independent. And that's not saying that they won't come around.
Mm-hmm.
My family didn't come around till I was 2 or 3 years into my business.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom said, I'm proud of you.
Right.
Because your vision is not anybody else's vision. It's not to say that they're mean or whatever. Sometimes you can't be sharing everything on social media and sharing everything with people.
Yeah.
You have to get stronger in yourself.
Yeah.
That's why for you, I tell you, tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Because you'll get it.
And
right?
I'll get it.
Because you've already gone through that journey.
Right. You can't share it with people that have not been on this road. Because this road is rocky. Ice Cube, I know, said, other than protect your neck, but Ice Cube was saying, you got to be committed, right, to this. Because you may not see a profit in 3 to 5 years.
Right.
So you have to be willing to go 3 to 5 years without getting paid the money that you steady, that you get in that 9 to 5. Because when it pays off, I'm telling you, it is an unbelievable feeling that you did this.
Right.
You trusted yourself. You bet on yourself, right? And another thing is there is power in the pivot. There are times when ends do not meet. You got to take a part-time gig. It's okay. So what? Someone, I'm working waitressing or working at a wine bar, and someone I know is just like, oh, I thought you have your own business. I do.
Yeah.
Right? however they perceive it, that's day business. Day business. It ain't mine.
So as you're sitting here talking, and you're coming up to my next point, my
Mhm.
next question, the pivoting of, hey, it's now you have your business. You may have to do part-time gigs here and there, right,
Mhm.
to make ends meet. I want to talk about when you've started to do freelance work in the
Yeah.
creative space.
Uh-huh.
We know it can be inconsistent,
Yes.
right? And I know just recently the whole the writer's strike,
Right. Oof.
you know, great cause and
Mhm.
definitely necessary.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. The oof was we still haven't
Yes.
gotten back to
Yeah.
where we were before
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And it's also highly competitive, right? In the
Yes.
freelancing and the creative. So
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, like, what keeps you motivated to continue moving forward when it gets hard?
Knowing that I'm built for it, honestly,
Mm.
I love this.
Because you've strengthened them. You've got the muscles
I've
now.
got the muscles
Yeah.
now, and I
Yeah.
have the tools, and I know that when things get crazy
Mhm.
or there's fire all around, it seems like everything to get still
Mm.
and knowing that that's not reality, right?
Mhm.
And so I need to make those moves. When things get crazy, I don't get crazy. When things look like they're all a loss, I don't believe that, right? I know that I'm a winner, and I've proven that many a time. My definition of success has changed.
Mm.
I feel that I'm a success now, right? As I am growing.
Right.
The fact that I am of this age and I'm directing,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a business that 16 and 15-year-old Nay and Net
Right.
110 Linden
Right.
was like, oh my God, we're going to do this. And here we are,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yo,
I
to
know.
me, that's a success.
I know.
Like, we ain't got to talk about revenue. The fact that we are here right now
is a success.
is a success
Yeah.
because so many people just talk
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they don't do.
And what I love about our journey is that where we are now, right? We're in our 50s.
Mhm.
We may not look it, but we in our
Come
50s.
on. Come on.
And it is more, and I there was a time when I even was just like, is it too late?
Mhm.
Is it too late? And I'm like, it isn't. You know why? Because it feels amazing to finally be doing this thing that we've always wanted to do, and now we've taken it further. Like
Yeah.
we've gone through the various journeys down this path, but the time was now.
Correct. And also, if it was too late, we wouldn't be
We'd
doing
be doing
it.
it. We'd be sitting,
Right.
you know,
'Cause
at
what
home
is for
talking
you-
about,
yeah.
hey, wish we
Right.
could be doing this.
Right.
Wish we could be doing that. Yeah.
And that was the old selves,
Yes.
right? They died.
They did.
Yeah, they been dead.
Did.
Dead.
So let me ask you a final question.
Yeah.
What advice would you give someone of a particular age
Yeah.
who wants to pursue their passion, but maybe feels that they can't? So I want to kind of touch on, and I know you just said something to this, but I think it is very important to talk to people, regardless of where you are in terms of your age in life. If you want it,
Go get it.
It's there.
Go get it. I mean, my advice to anybody is tomorrow is not promised.
Right.
The only thing that you have is now. What are you doing now to get to where you want to go? And if you have a vision, that vision came to you because it can be a reality. It is a reality.
Yeah.
We are the ones that limit ourselves because we allow society, we allow family, we allow external things to dictate how we are supposed to move.
Mm-hmm.
It is not outside, then inside. You go inside and then everything comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I tell young kids always on set. I don't want to sound old, young kids. I tell them kids. I tell them kids.
Listen here. Look at here.
But I do. Whatever you want, go get it. Go get it. I don't wish I was any other way in my 20s. Everything worked out the way it was supposed to work out. And I am here now to tell anybody what Kevin Garnett said. It is possible. All things are possible.
And let me also quote Nike. Just do it. Just do it.
No, but I'm serious. Like, it's funny because it sounds all cliche because it is so easy. We just make things so hard.
We do.
Yeah, you might have to give up some things. You might not be able to afford like regular cable with all the specialty channels.
But there's somebody you can bootleg from.
Amen. You got a cousin that live right down the street. You could get they Max. You could get they like Friendly. Let me stop. But
make it happen, Captain.
You
like
just
that's
make it
it.
Happen.
Make it happen.
You got to sacrifice.
Yeah.
You got to sacrifice. You want something, you got to sacrifice. You cannot expect greatness and not give up anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to give up the very thing that is holding you down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's it. And it's ongoing. So you have an awakening. I have an awakening. I'm telling you, every freaking quarter.
I was literally about to say it's like clockwork.
Yeah.
Like it's every 3 months. I feel like there's
but I know that when there's a dip, there's an elevation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's those tools. But this was great. And let me know like if anything resonates with you.
You drop gems, Net.
And some feedback. Well, I hope I helped somebody.
I'm sure there are people out there that can relate to the journey of change.
Yeah.
And the struggle, it may seem when you're in it.
Right.
But you're a completely different person when you come out of it.
Yeah. I mean, and my thing is I want this blueprint for my son.
Mm-hmm.
So as he is on his journey and then he becomes a father and a husband, there is that blueprint for him.
Yeah.
Right. So.
All right. A good talk, Nat. As always.
All right. We're going to take a break because I need some coffee.
All right, y'all. We'll be back.
We'll be back.
That's our show for today. Fantastic. I knew just talking to you, you were going to drop gems. You were going to drop quotes. You were going to tell people what's what. I think you gave amazing insight today.
Oh.
I really, I always, we talk all the time.
Yeah.
So you always lift me up.
Oh,
and I appreciate that because you were like the catalyst to my journey as well. So I'm glad I had you to just be like, when I'm calling you, they're just like, oh my God, that you talked me through a lot of my mess.
Oh.
But the journey from corporate to creative is it's different for everybody, and I'm glad that you were able to share your journey.
Yeah, thank you. So don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment. What do you think about this episode? What's your journey like? Are you staying in your 9 to 5?
Do you want to get the hell up out of there and you don't know how?
Right. Like what's,
tell us your story for sure.
Yeah, because, we can all like help each other as we are on our particular journeys.
Yep. A lot of journeying. Life is a journey.
Life is a highway.
All right, y'all. That's a wrap. I'm going to end it right here because if she starts singing, it's over for all of us. All of us.
All right. No.
All right. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.